but we have spent billions of dollars on embryonic stem cell research, and nothing beneficial has come about from that. And there's a reason for that. And nothing beneficial will come about. Or if it's the homosexual issue, or if it is the Second Amendment issue. Those are the kinds of things that the state chamber wants to keep suppressed, in my opinion, because they want Oklahoma to look progressive in the eyes of the people in New York and Boston and Chicago and San Francisco. Now, now I will tell you what, folks, I will take the culture and the values of the people here in Oklahoma and that culture that emanates from those values. I personally think it's superior to anything they have in those communities. You know, a part of the idea and the understanding of our founders and this federalism that we have was that the federal government would be very small and very limited and provide very few services. And the majority of services would be provided through the states. And what they wanted to do is set up a competitive atmosphere so that the states would compete with one another in providing the proper services at the least cost and allow the most liberty. And whichever state succeeded at that would be the type of state that the majority of people would want to live in. And it would put pressure on other states that didn't accomplish that. It would put pressure on them to alter their form of governance to be what people desired. But what we have today is a trampling on federalism and a rising of the tyranny of the federal government, requiring all the states to do everything the same. It's the sameness from the federal government. That's why we have these mandates that apply to everybody everywhere. And when we all have to live under these tyrannical mandates, we can't have that proper competition. And so, anyway, it's just sometimes the agendas of these groups are different. I'm gonna move right over here. I'll come around to everybody here. Yes, go ahead. Don.
Yes, sir. We just got through, since we're backwoods and redneck, we just got through open carry through safety committee, 13-3 votes.
Congratulations. Telegraph that. How many states have open carry?
In some type of form, 42.
42.
25 just carry a gun.
Yeah.
Or some type of a license thereof.
And yet we have people probably, in my opinion, in the state chamber that don't want that bill to ever see the light of day. That would be my opinion. Okay. I'm on some other people have had their hands up for a long time. Thomas.
Didn't you forget candidate introductions earlier?
I did. We'll come back to that in just a second. Well, let's just do it now. Let's stop right now. As you can tell, we're letting our motor idle here, waiting on our speaker today that appears like he's not going to show up. So, could we have all the candidates that are running for office of any type please stand? Okay. Was this a setup or something? All right, Richard, go ahead and tell us what you're doing.
By the way, Charlie, that's a great looking shirt you're wearing.
I put it on over my overalls.
Well, I appreciate that. We you know, unlike OCPAC, I do have these T-shirts right over here in 3 different sizes. I encourage you to pick one up for a donation. It's my way of letting folks donate and participate in my campaign for Republican National Committee man. The race is going phenomenally well, going to various county conventions and Republican groups around the state, and it is going extremely well. The party establishment really pretty much says it's mine to lose at this point. It's going that well. But I encourage you to come and get one of these T-shirts for a donation. Around $10-ish is recommended, but come and get them, and I'd love to have that. You know, unlike OCPAC, which has a $50 cash limit, campaigns for party office are totally unregulated. And so you are welcome to give me as much cash as you want.
100,000 would be
by all means. I will put it to good use. I really appreciate your support. Thank you.
And also, if you failed to make a precinct meeting and you'd still like to attend your county convention, you can contact Matt, and he can give you permission to go to that convention.
That, and get your voter ID card and go to the convention and go through credentials.
Okay, and they may allow you anyway. Part of the purpose of that is the more of you that know Richard and what he stands for, and I'm going to tell you, I just reviewed a piece of propaganda that he's drafted here to help him in his effort here, and it's very impressive. It really is. Now, folks, you know the literal definition of the word propaganda means information to persuade. There's nothing wrong with propaganda until it becomes disinformation. When it becomes disinformation, then it's bad, it's evil. And there was no disinformation in that piece of propaganda at all. It was very well done. So, Bob.
Actually, there is an interesting dynamic on this whole healthcare exchange or Obamacare. You might be interested in it. Just as OCPAC has been robocalling into some districts against this whole program, the Chamber of Commerce has been robocalling some of the same areas in support of the healthcare exchange. Okay? Now you might ask, well, why would they be in support of it? What would be their motive? Allow me to give you a hypothetical. Okay? If you remember Amanda's presentation up front where she had the glossies up there, and you looked at the details, you'd see there would be very select, a few of the insurance companies, medical providers, the large ones, they were prominent in it. And you have to understand, the way companies make money is when they reduce competition, their profit margins go up. The greater the competition, the smaller their profit margins. Okay? So if they can use government regulation and through that reduce competition, the quality of service goes down, our premiums go up, and their profit margins go up as well. So I would dare say that in the end, that may well be a motive. Without a doubt, it is a result. And that's where this whole thing is heading, because we know what government regulation does. It actually decreases competition. A lot of the small companies, they can't keep up with it. So that's actually what we're opposing. And I can see where maybe, I don't know, but maybe a few select members of the Chamber of Commerce are really getting behind this, because they see themselves winning. They see themselves winning. Whether it be the medical providers or some select medical insurance companies, whoever it might be, they see themselves winning. I hope that makes sense, because that's part of the argument that we're going to give opposing this whole thing tomorrow. It'll reduce competition.
Okay, when the bill failed to pass last year and they formed a task force or a committee to hold hearings on this whole issue throughout the summer, there were two people that were chairing that. One was State Senator Gary Stanislawski from Tulsa. The other one was a state representative. Can anybody tell me the name of the representative? He was a freshman, just elected in 2010.
Mulready.
Glenn Mulready. Does anybody know, and do you know who's one of the most forceful advocates for this right now? It's Glenn Mulready.
Yes, it is.
Do you know what Glenn Mulready did before he was elected to the state senate?
Insurance man.
He was a lobbyist for Blue Cross Blue Shield. See how these things go around and come around?
Yeah.
You really don't have to dig too deep sometimes to understand some of the forces here, and keep in mind what Bob just said. Yes, Travis. I'll get to it.
How many legislators we have that lobbied for the school unions and the public service unions? I was wondering about this bill that when it voted down in the committee to eliminate deducting dues in payroll on payroll deductions. I thought I read where that had been refused.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the status of that
Whether
bill.
it's a dead issue or not. That seems like such a good thing to me.
Oh, it's a great thing. It's a great thing, but I don't know the status of that bill.
Dead.
Is it dead? Okay. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate. And, you know, the point that Mark Costello, our state labor commissioner, is trying to make in that is when the Democrats were in control, for every dollar that, say, the State Employees Association and some of the unions like that, for every dollar they put in a Republicans' coffers, they probably put $9 in the coffers of Democrats.
Yeah, they do.
But the agenda and the purpose of that organization hasn't changed. But now that Republicans are in control, it's switched. It's probably for every dollar they're putting in a Democrat campaign, they're probably putting $3 or $4 into that of a Republican. And they still have the same agenda. And so all you have to do is look, and you're seeing that they're popping big dollars into a lot of these campaigns. That was an issue in Senate District 20 up there. The two candidates that were heavily financed by lobbyists, they were either OPEA, or not OPEA, but yeah, the Oklahoma Public Employees Association, or